What is up, everybody? My name is Jeremy and welcome to the channel. And today we'll be breaking down the trailer for the next episode of House of the Dragon, We Light the Way. And the first thing that stuck out to me was the title, We Light the Way, which are the official house words of House Hightower. And judging by the trailer, we will definitely be visiting Old Town during this episode, which is something I'm really looking forward to. I definitely want to see some more of Old Town. We didn't get a whole lot of it in the original Game of Thrones series. And I'm hoping we get some more scenes between Oberyn and Otto, the two brothers of House Hightower. And it's just an interesting dynamic between those two, where even though Otto is was anyway, the hand of the king and one of the most powerful men in the realm, at the end of the day, he was still a second son of House Hightower. And he kind of has to bend to the will of his older brother, which we saw in episode 3 when they had that conversation. So I'm really looking forward to getting a little bit more of them too. It's an interesting dynamic there. The trailer starts off with Viserys arriving at Driftmark as we hear him saying that he's come with a marriage proposal to wed Rhaenyra to Corlys' son Laenor. And we know that there's been a little bit of a rift between the two houses ever since Viserys turned down Corlys' first proposal of marriage. So something like this coming around now could be a really good thing to kind of heal that rift between the two families. And it'll definitely give Corlys something that he's wanted for a very long time, which is a member of House Velaryon on the Iron Throne, or King Consort in this case. Because once Viserys heard that Corlys was planning to marry Laenor off to the Sea Lord's daughter of Braavos, I think that made them a little nervous, because I think the last thing they want is the Free Cities to enter into an alliance with House Velaryon and have access to dragons and all that. That could become a major problem later on that they probably just don't want to risk. Then we get an interesting shot of someone who many are speculating could be Mushroom, and personally I hope it is. It'd be nice to get a little Mushroom cameo, even if it is only a little cameo and he doesn't have a big role. Then we hear Viserys say that he hopes to usher in a second age of dragons, and just as he says that, we get our first look at Meleys, the Red Queen, which is the dragon of Rhaenys Targaryen, or Rhaenys Velaryon now. The queen who never was. And Meleys looks really awesome. We only get a quick glimpse of her in the trailer, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the full episode and getting a nice, good shot of Meleys. The dragon just looks absolutely badass up there. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Red Queen in action. Then we hear Rhaenys talking about how Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged and how knives will come out. And just as she says that, we see literal knives coming out as we see a big old fight start to break out at what looks to be the feast for Laenor and Rhaenyra's wedding. We see Laenor get thrown over a table, we see Sir Harwin Strong and Sir Criston Cole both just laying the absolute smackdown on folks. It just looks like absolute mayhem is ensuing. I'm really looking forward to seeing this feast scene. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. Then we get a look at Corlys Velaryon, and we see behind him our first look at the Driftwood throne on Driftmark. And I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit more of Driftmark. I remember in an interview we heard the actor Stephen Toussaint, who was playing Corlys, talk about how Corlys has treasures and all kinds of crazy stuff showcased throughout his castle from the 9 voyages that he famously went on in his youth. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some more of Driftmark and seeing some of the stuff that he was able to plunder in his travels. Then we get a really gnarly look at Viserys as he's being tended to by 2 maesters, and you can just tell he's really not looking good. His body just seems to be rotting from the inside out. The guy's really falling apart. And we hear Otto say that the king will soon be dead, and that if Rhaenyra remains the heir, war will ensue. And he seems to be talking to Alicent and basically telling Alicent that she needs to prepare Aegon to be king. And judging by the look on Alicent's face, she is definitely a little bit worried by whatever else Otto is telling her to do. Another interesting shot that we got in the trailer was the shot of Daemon in the Vale, with someone being thrown off a horse in front of him. And this isn't something I've heard anyone really mention yet, but judging by some of these leaked photos that were recently released, it looks an awful lot like the person falling off this horse is Daemon's wife, Rhea Royce, or his bronze bitch as he calls her. Now, in Fire and Blood, Daemon's wife meets a tragic end when she is thrown from her horse and breaks her neck. And many people do assume that Daemon might have had a hand or that he was involved somehow. So it looks like we'll definitely be getting a scene, surrounding all that. It looks like we'll get a definitive answer on what happened to Rhea Royce and her tragic run-in with a horse that broke her neck. And it just looks like it's going to be interesting. But yeah, that definitely looks like Rhea Royce on the horse that is falling. It is definitely the same clothes and everything that the actress that is playing Rhea Royce is wearing in the other leak photo. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that scene and finding out exactly what happened to Daemon's wife and everything that's going on there in the Vale. Looks like it's going to be an interesting scene, to say the least. Overall, it looks like it's going to be a really fun episode. We get some action, we get some intrigue, some politicking, basically everything that we loved the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones for. And that was one thing I really liked the previous episode, episode 4 that just passed. It really reminded me of those earlier seasons of Game of Thrones where you get all of the politicking, the intrigue. Sometimes you don't need to have crazy action on screen for it to really, really be good and riveting and keep you on the edge of your seat. And I feel like House of the Dragon has a perfect balance of both between drama and action. They're really doing well. And I gotta say, it's going to be a little sad to say goodbye to Millie Alcock and Emily Carey, the young actresses that are playing the younger versions of Rhaenyra and Alicent, as episode 5. This next episode that is coming up is the last episode that they will be in before the big time jump happens in episode 6. So got to give it a big shout out to them. They have been killing it as young Rhaenyra and young Alicent. They really set up the characters absolutely well for the next set of actors and actresses to take over. So big shout out to Millie Alcock and Emily Carey. They've really been killing it. And that is going to do it for my breakdown for the trailer of Episode 5, We Light the Way, airing this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be a really, really good episode. And don't forget to come back and hang out for our live after show, Hour of the Dragon, that we do every week, where we discuss the episode and all things House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.